Welcome back, everybody. It's another episode of Connect, Share, Prosper. I'm your co-host, Chris Angel, and I'm here with the podcast master himself, Chaz Wilson. Hello, Chaz.
The podcast master, that's my new title.
Well, that's what I came up with in the moment.
Yeah.
You are a podcast master.
I'll put that one right on the door. I like it.
You should. Well, that makes sense. I mean, this is episode 38, I think. Episode 38. Like, I'd say that's pretty masterful.
Yeah, I mean, it's 37 more than I did the last time I tried to do a podcast.
Well, what's been the biggest, first of all, why do a podcast? Because you're doing a podcast. Why do it? And then what's the difference this time versus what before when you tried to do it? Because I think a lot of people think about doing it. They've thought they want to do it, but they don't stick with it.
Well, there's several reasons, but one and most important is to get your message out, right? You have a lot of important things to say that are, anyone watching this who's a specialist, at least at a minimal, they're a specialist in their area and they want to potentially be an expert or an authority position in that. And I don't think it's a question of should you have a podcast anymore. This becomes the medium to do that, to share that message. When I look at all my employees and my team members that talk about the podcast they listen to every day in the morning at the gym or on the way into work or on the way home, they could be listening to your message, right? So that's number one. And number two, what's different? Tons different, but having someone like you, that's why I so recommend, is because it's a structured plan, and structure is what it's about. When I have to be left to my own devices to record my own podcast, think about what should I talk about today. People don't see as often when you and I get on these, we often just take 5 minutes and map out topics and quick discuss things. That's helpful for me to then go into what's relevant to talk about. So you help with that. It's structured. It's easy. I mean, we knock out several episodes in an hour. Yeah. Yep. And then I'm done. I don't have to worry about it. You take care of the rest, and then it sends to my team, and we get it published and we get it out there. That's the key. Where I had to do it before, I got distracted. I didn't see the priority. I wasn't kept to the accountability of it. So all those reasons.
I love that. I would tell you, like, for me, because I've had multiple podcasts, and I was the one, and I'm the podcast like advocate, right? I built a service around it, and I would have shows, and I wouldn't sustain the show. My own show. And I'm the one that is such a believer in it, but it was because I had to deal with the details myself. Yep. And as soon as I was able to build a team around me in order to support shows like yours and other client shows, it's become so much easier just to create my own show because all the details were handled. And I think where a lot of people get hung up in podcasting is the details. And I think in some ways they're trying to pinch pennies. They're trying to pinch pennies to try to learn to do it themselves. But the problem is, there's too much learning curve for them to stick with it. So you might save a penny, but you're not getting your message out, right? And on top of that, I would say that our service is super affordable. If you actually go out and shop what we do and how much content we are able to create for you that you own, it's super affordable.
Well, and there's one other piece that I think that probably is tough to monetize in the equation, but it's so important for people. And so if you're listening, please hear what I'm about to say. Chris, the truth of the matter is you're one of the best interviewers out there. And as someone who's delivering the podcast, like I get to a place sometimes where I've got this content, I deliver it, but then you ask me this follow-up question, which takes us in a whole nother place where I can add to it and make it better. And if I just turned the camera on and started doing that, I would miss that piece, and my listeners would miss that piece. So powerful piece, man. You're good at what you do.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I think one of the other things that people miss too is, a couple things. People will say, but we do this in a video format. We're recording through Zoom right now through our webcams. And so we'll push it to YouTube for the client, right?
Yeah.
But what's cool with our top level package, which is what you have, is we'll push it to iTunes, to Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Play. And statistically, so it never fails. People ask me, well, who's going to watch a 30-minute or a 10-minute video? And I say, you're missing the point. Well, first of all, let me say this. A podcast, 80% of podcast listeners complete an episode. It doesn't matter if it's 30 minutes or 50 minutes. 80% of podcast listeners complete an episode.
Wow.
And if you think about the more time somebody spends listening to you, the deeper the relationship gets. Right? Yeah. If they spent 1 minute with you versus 50 minutes with you, there's going to be more relationship because they spent more time with you. That's just time on task. There's time on the relationship. But there's something bigger that's happening in the background that people miss. And that's when we do long form content, 10-minute interviews to 30-minute interviews, we are capturing your mothership of content. Right? Its sole purpose isn't to just be watched for the 10 to 30 minutes of interviews. You now can take that and hire a social media manager or do it yourself. And you can splinter 1 to 2 minute sound bites off of the long form content to, throughout the week, be sharing on your social platforms, right? And now you can hook people into the longer form content with little sound bites. And most people are missing that. It's very hard to capture a 1 to 2 minute video staring into a camera and saying it perfect for a minute in hopes that you have a short enough video that people will watch. But when you can be interviewed like you're saying and somebody pulls out of you great sound bites, all you have to do is go back and find the sound bites, pull them out, and then publish those.
Yeah, but so when you said that, it made me think, go back 30 years. I don't know if that's the right time frame, but let's go back 30 years for a second. And you're in business and you have a message to get out. And the only way to do that was to go on the radio or go on TV. Yeah. You literally now have to think back then, if they knew that it's 30 years from now, you're going to have on your computer anytime you want with somebody interview you, videos captured, audios captured. It gets these mediums that millions of people could have access to. Yeah. And it costs you, a couple $100 to $1,000 a month. And people are saying, no, I don't really have the time or the money. That's insane.
Yeah.
That's insane. And we have access to do that today.
Yeah.
Like push of a button in an hour, I have 5 episodes done and out there.
Yep. I love it. Well, I think there's a lot of power in podcasting. I definitely think there's a lot of people interested in it right now. And I do think, like you said, like everybody should have a podcast. We're now at a day and age where everybody believes they should have a blog.
Yep.
I think the next push is like everybody now should have a podcast. There's more connection created in a podcast than in a blog just because of the medium. So I do believe that everybody should have a podcast. I'm grateful that you work with me to help you create your podcast. It's a total honor. And I look forward to helping anybody else that listens to this create their podcast. So
yeah, I would just correct a little bit here, Chris. I don't think the question is, should I have a podcast? I think it's, of course I need to have a podcast. That question's been answered. Now it's, do I do it on my own or do I work with someone? And I think the answer is simple. They reach out to you.
I love that. Well, we'll put a link up here, Chaz, and people can go click on the link and learn more about what we do. On our end, thank you for giving me the space in this episode to kind of highlight that, because I think it's powerful for people to grow their business and scale their message in a way that only takes an hour or 2 a month. That's it.
Oh, so easy. They need to do it.
I love it. Chaz, thanks for your time today, and we'll catch you in the next episode.
All right, be well.